Factoring when a is not 1. Okay, so we can also factor when a is not 1. Let's go through how we would do this. We are still going to be doing the diamond method from the last video. That's our first step. And then we're going to do something called the box method in order to factor. So let's fill in the spots with an example problem. 6x squared minus x minus 2. All right, so if we're looking at the top, we want to do a times c up here on the diamond, remember? And now this time our a is not 1, so we actually have to take this 6 times negative 2. And that goes up there. Okay, and then what's our b value? Well, it's what's in front of this x here, so what do we not write there usually in math? Well, it's a negative 1. So that's our b value, that's what goes down here. And now we just want to complete the diamond. So we want to simplify here. Well, 6 times negative 2 is negative 12. And now we want to find two numbers that multiply to negative 12, add to negative 1. And we should find that it's going to be 4, negative 4, and positive 3. Okay, so that's all. That shouldn't be new. That's what we did last video. But now here's the new part. Okay, so we need to put everything into the box. Now if you look at your little diagram above, you can see a top left corner of the box. We always write this term right here, the ax squared. So in this specific problem, it's 6x squared. Okay? And then the bottom right-hand corner of the box, we always put our c value, which is negative 2 in this problem. Okay, so we put negative 2 down there. And if you follow the color coding on the diagram above on your notes, you can see that the two places that we fill in the box come from these two numbers we found in the diamond. So we're going to put down negative 4 and 3. Now if you also notice on the diagram above in your notes, you want to always put an x right next to that negative 4 and 3. Okay, so we plop an x on there, we put an x right there. Okay, so once we have all of our spots filled into the box, now we need to find the outsides of the box, okay? And how we do that is we start by working vertically and looking at 6x squared and 3x. Now, what do these numbers both have in common? And we want the biggest number that they both have in common. So, they both have 3 in common, as well as an x. Okay, so I put 3x there. And now we look at negative 4x and negative 2. Now, if you look on your box cheat sheet, you can see this number needs to be negative. Okay? And what do negative 4x and 2 have in common? Well, they both have 2 in common. So I'm going to put 2 there. All right, now we work horizontally, and we look at 6x squared and negative 4x. What's the largest number they both have in common? Well, 2 goes into both of those, and they also both have an x. Okay? And then lastly, we look at 3x and negative 2. Well, the biggest number that goes into both of those is actually going to be just a 1. Okay? And then at this point, we're done. We just have to put it into factored form. And how we do that is we take what is on the outside of the box and write it with our handy-dandy parentheses, right? Because when we factor, we use parentheses. So I'm going to take these two terms up here from the box, 3x minus 2, and just put on some parentheses. Okay? And in the same way, I'm going to take 2x and 1, and I'm going to add them since they're both positive, so 2x plus 1. And that's our final answer. So let's try one more. We have 8x squared plus 10x plus 3. Alrighty, so start with the diamond. On the top, we take 8 times 3, which gives us 24. And on the bottom, we get 10 from our B value right there. And we need to multiply to 24, add to 10. So we find that it is 6 and 4. Okay, now here's the new part, the box. Okay, what do we always put on the top left corner? We always put this 8x squared. Okay, what do we always put on bottom right corner? We always put this 3. Okay. And now, what do we fill in the other 2 slots with? Well, the 6 and 4, right? And don't forget to put an X on those with them. Perfect. And now we work up and down first. So we look at 8x squared and 4x. What is the largest thing they both have in common? Well, 4, and they also both have an x. Then we move to 6x and 3. Well, 3 is the largest thing they both have in common. Now we move horizontally, okay? So we look at 8x squared and 6x. That one is going to be 2, goes into both of them evenly. They also have an x. And lastly, we look at 4x and 3. And we get 1. And then we're essentially done at this point, right? We just have to write it with our parentheses. So we take the 4x and the 3, add them together and put the parentheses just like so. And we take the 2x and the 1, add them together and use our parentheses. And that is our final answer. So here's a hint. There is such thing as not factorable, just like in the last video. Okay, so for example, 2x squared plus 5x plus 1. Does the diamond work for this problem? Well, on top we get 2 times 1, which is 2. And on the bottom we get 5. Okay, and we'll quickly find, right, there's nothing that we can put in these blanks. Okay, so our answer for this is not factorable.